Good evening, everyone. Whew. Uh, I'm having a seat. I have to take a rest. Oh my goodness, I'm hot right now. Ooh, a little moist. I just turned the air on. I don't know why I keep turning off the air, but it gets cold. Anyway, your girl is happy. Why? Because I made it home in safe conditions. I wanted to go outside today. I really did, but I first of all I went to get a package out of the mailbox, and then I ended up walking straight out the front door. So, boys and girls, I kid you not, I can't even explain how hard it is for someone who's just been going to and from, to the location and back in the house. It's like, so I went outside and it was boiling hot. So I said, I'm just gonna walk, and I walked all the way up the block to the corner, maybe a little further and around, and I went to the back of my building. It was hot, boys and girls, but I I haven't been outside in a long time in 94-degree weather. So I just said, it's hot. So the good thing was I didn't have my cup, so I wasn't sipping and I wasn't talking and that type of thing. I try to tell my daughter sometimes when you're walking, release your phone and just enjoy whatever. So I actually was able to just enjoy that few minutes of walking. And then when I came home, I don't have any recollection of when I felt like I fell out, but I was gone. It was over. The phone rang. I woke up, my daughter said, "Can you come outside in 5 minutes?" So then I just went around the block and I took over the wheel and I said, "I'm just gonna drive you home." She went to the pull over at the bus stop. I said, "I'm driving you home." She was like, "Are you?" I said, "Yep." I wanted to learn my way to her location, so it took me about 35 minutes to get to her location. So it was a beautiful ride. I kid you not, because once I reached to a certain destination, the entire scenery turns into like boom. So it's like zip, zip, and so all I did was remember that I was doing the best I can just to enjoy the moment that I had, and that's it. So I did that, but I kid you not, when we got a little bit from here, when we got a little bit from here, the rain just said boom, the sky said dark, and I was like, oh, I want to pull over. So my daughter said, um, "Mommy, if this doesn't stop, I'm not leaving you. I'm going home. I'm staying with you." And I'm like, "Oh no, 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 no!" In my mind, because no, I'm not. No, 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 no. So I pulled over in front of her house. We after we made it there, and we sat in the car for a while. We were talking. Beautiful conversation. Just mommy and daughter. Release. And I'm like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I don't want to be in your business, but and it was just accepted, and that was it. No, none of the rest of the stuff. So all I could do at that moment in my mind was just say thank God. But then I had to tell her. I said, you know what? I am so proud of you. So we didn't went down the block, to a parking lot and sat in the parking lot, and she started laughing and stuff. Because it's really funny, when you're in front of your home and you can't do certain things and then you want to go down the block, but then when you come in from, no, honey, so at least she's understanding. You understand what I'm saying? So I told her, thank you for let's going down the block. But we pulled into her legal parking lot for her building, and we sat there for a little while and we laughed. And she said, "Mommy, you can't be laughing like that. Can't do that." I said, "Oh, so now I'm over here. I can't laugh." And I just rolled with it. But she had me laughing. She had me laughing. But then she was like, "I'm not letting you go in the park." So all I did was say in my mind, I just started praying. I'm like, "God, I just want to make it home." So the rain had started coming. I said, "You know what? Let me just drop you back home because mommy got to go." So she said, I said, I'm not here anymore." As soon as I touched the parkway, I kid you not, the sun just had come bow in the sky, and it was so sunny that the rain stopped. All that gray was gone, and I'm like, oh wow, I see what you're doing. So I'm in my car and I'm thankful, because that is one of the reasons why I like to drive alone. When you drive alone, you can just do whatever. You can listen to the radio, you cannot listen to the radio, whatever it is. There is something in moments of peace. You understand? Sometimes you don't get a moment of peace. Just imagine having 5, 6 people in your house and your head is always going. You get in your car, you get to just ride. So I just was riding, and then I remembered that I am never in a rush. So I reduced my speed down to 40, and I tried to stay right there. So all the cars were passing me, and I was just like, praying for them to make it to your destination. And I was like, boom, I saw like 2 cars behind me, like, and I'm like, oh no, they're definitely looking for tickets. But see, I just moved to the right, stayed in my lane, and that was it. And I was really happy because I knew I wanted to get off of a exit that I remember getting off of before, because I'm learning my way, and I'm like, and then my daughter said, "You're gonna get off of exit such and such," and I'm like, "I don't want to go up that exit. I want to go off the other exit." And she's like, "Mommy, you can't do that." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" But then I realized the exit she was talking about was first, and then that exit takes you to my desired exit. When I get off of my desired exit, then I already know I am basically home. It's just a matter of like 20 minutes. But coming from a distance that I'm not accustomed to driving, it is really hard to deal with, like 3, 4 lanes, and I'm just like, so I was, when I got to that, like, it's like a backwards C. That's all I can remember. So when I saw that, I'm like, and I was really happy. So I am the type of driver that can go somewhere a million times and still not know my way without some help. I'm learning the best I can to get in that vehicle, use that GPS to get me where I'm going, but I need to learn my way around, because I want to be able to rely on myself. If anything happens to me behind that wheel, I get stuck, I'm lost, I will break down. It is. If somebody comes, they don't even need a gun. I'm just gonna hand them the key and lay on the ground. That's it. I have zero. My capacity up here is gone. Mm. Anyway, so I made it home, and when I made it home, all I could do was just be thankful. But I wish there was something else I could tell you about what happens when I reach home, but that's something I just can't do. But maybe, I could say it to someone like King or something like that. But anyway, I won't do that. Anyway, I still cannot hook up my printer. I have tried. The page is not loading. Whatever the hell is going on is going on. But I did get enough of the business cards that I needed. Plus, I did about 50 extra cards before I changed over to Optimum. So it is what it is. And then I got a call tonight, and I'm like, my printer's not working. There's nothing I can do. So there goes that, and I'm not panicking in any way, shape, or form. So I went back into my room, and I started lifting up some bins and putting in the closet and trying to get some of that floor. I can't function in there, so I'm trying to get the floor. And I did a lot, but I didn't do a lot. I did a lot, but I didn't do as much as I wish I could have done. So then something said, let me come in this closet again. I said, now I know I'm looking for my, those little cups you measure flour and like sugar, the little cups that they on a string, on a little hook. I don't have that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where are those? And then I'm looking for my my bone thing that I use for my greeting cards. I've been looking for this board forever, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have a lot of my kitchen stuff. So I'm like, I don't believe. Now I do know the pan, I didn't go in the oven. I know I didn't get those pans. I know I didn't get those bowls, but I am almost positive I got the hooks, because I made sure I took everything off the wall, even the thing, I'm like, so I don't know if the truck might have missed the box or something, but that's not, I'm not even going to stress that. I started writing a list of things I need to get. So one of those things is going to be a funnel. Why? Because, okay, my friend gave me this right here. And this is CMOS electrolytes. So This is banana, strawberry, whatever the case may be. Now, this right here, in my mind, is basically like a Gatorade or something like that. I don't like the flavor. This is good for someone who likes that flavor. So I did make one right here, and I put it in here, and I haven't had much of the first sip because it tastes like that right there. But I actually took one of these and put it in here. So I put some fresh ice and everything in here. So I was waiting for a minute or two for it to get all up in there and get nice because I don't want to taste because that taste is not good. But there, I'm not saying don't buy it. Please, if you like it, you like it. And just in case you want to try it. So what I did do, oh, that's nice. You can taste whatever it is in there. Most likely that I think that clonide or something like that. I already looked up the ingredients and I'm gonna make it on my own. I'm gonna buy the bags, and I won't be able to buy something like this on regular. I'm gonna make my own little jars, and I'm gonna take my 2 tablespoons and put it in my jug. I didn't realize that this is something that I really should have, especially since I started, walking and doing things like that. So, mm, mm, mm. Now, I don't know how long I had this, but I'm almost positive I bought this from Dollar General. And how I ended up with this in my cabinet, I don't know, but I found a few of them. One of them I have no intentions on tasting, but I just realized something else I want. Let me put it on my little list. I got little pages of notepads. You know that orange circle, and you put it like a lemon, and you turn it, or you make like orange juice or something. I'm gonna try to get some oranges and take the juice out of it and drop it into my flavored water and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look for. Oh, pen doesn't want to work. Okay, there we go. And because I don't know the name of these things, I have to describe it. So when I put it in my keywords, I can remember what to do. But when I went into the closet in here to pull out some stuff, I found one bag that only had 2 of my custom made tote bags in there and one of my pillows that I worked on. So that whole bag I was able to take out and basically empty. But I'm going to leave the bag with the pillow and put it in another closet. So that was able to come out. And then I had another bag on the bottom. I opened that bag up, and what did I find? Yes! The girl is happy. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, because I needed this. And I don't know where I would be able to get another one, but when I got this on a hustle and grind, boys and girls. And I don't want to have to pay for this now compared to what I got this for before. Now, my bone folder is gone. Don't know where the bone folder is, and I really wish I had it, but I don't want a fake bone folder. I want the real bone folder, but I don't know where to find one. So I have my board. I'm very happy. I already went on the computer and I already made 4 copies of a card that I want to use as a kindness card to put in the mail tonight. But I'm not able to print it. The printer did the first copy, which was a sample copy, but it will not print from what I'm asking it to print on the computer. But I found a nice flower that I like, and I thought of a sentiment. I put the sentiment, and I just want a basic, simple card, so I would like to print it. But I would be printing 4 copies, and then I would have to chop it, but I can actually fold and all that other stuff with this. And I looked in that drawer, and I do have an avocado knife. That's what I'm going to use on this bone folder. But this right here, that's my come up for today, and I'm freezing. Woo! Now I know why I turned off the air. But boys and girls, I was sleeping the other night. I said, I can't do this. I got up. I said, I turned that sucker off. I had to turn on the fan. I had to turn on the fan because I don't like to sleep under comforters and stuff like that. So I like to sleep under my little twin size cover. And I was shivering. I was shivering so much that I was holding my stomach, and I was like, "Ugh." And I found myself, but I was really tired. And for a while, I couldn't get up. When I actually made it to get up was when I was about to go boom with my bladder. I had already realized I had to go, but I couldn't get up, and I couldn't get up, and I couldn't move none of that. Because one move, it would have just said pow, and the bladder would have just dropped. Because I kid you not, having overactive bladder is no joke. If you are the person who has an overactive bladder, you understand what I mean. Now I took like 3 pumpkin seeds today, which helped me slow down going to the bathroom. And when I leave my house, I take my bladder pill. But when you only have 30 pills and you have this foolishness going on, and then I'm in here, using what I have to take care of my needs and everything, but I'm like, oh, so I'm like, all right, I want to go outside. But I kid you not, you don't want to go outside wearing something that if you wet it, the neighbors would know what you're wearing. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, well, I'm going outside. I'm gonna make it around the block and come right back up here. So that's what I did. But I was driving, and then I'm like, my daughter started laughing. I said, "Baby, don't make mommy laugh." I said, "Because my bladder gonna bust." And I said, "I just cleaned out my car and everything. Not clean it, but enough to get that scent out the car because I had an accident in there." And then she was like, "Mommy, where's your?" She said, "There's one right there." I was like, "Okay, but I have to pull over." So then when I pulled over, I went to fix myself. She's, "You don't even care if people look into the window." No, I don't care. Absolutely don't care. I said I was born this way. There's nothing I can do. I said, "You think I care about somebody looking out their window?" I said, "I'm in my vehicle. I'm not doing anything wrong. Absolutely not wrong." I said, "Are you serious? If I'm no, I'm not doing that." Okay. I asked. I don't know if it's Nell, and if I'm wrong, still love me. Just give me a real big hug. I'm not good with names. Has anyone noticed I have a new banner? I didn't notice anyone comment, but I don't think King has been here today. But I asked King to do me a favor today, and he did me a favor, and now I understand something, and I am extremely happy. But it does not matter because I know things are going on right now, and people have to do whatever, so that doesn't matter. A friend of mine asked me to do a shirt that said "Mind Your Business" because I told him how much that sentiment has helped me in my life, and he said you need to make a shirt with Shades Creations and "Mind Your Business." So when I woke up today, I had a feeling I was going to design 2 shirts. Now, April, I need you to remind me of what you said so I can figure out what I want on the shirt. I don't know where I put my save. I don't know how to find that stuff on my computer. Anyway, I did a shirt that said "Mind Your Business," and then I put it up on Printful. But a while ago, I asked someone to see if my page would allow me to sell from it so that I don't have to go to Etsy. And I'm going to tell you, I am not against Etsy in no way, shape, or form. I never know when I have to go back to Etsy. But if I go to Etsy, I have to make the price at least 8 whatever's above whatever the price would be if I just used Printful by itself. Now, I actually wanted to design the shirt and order the shirt custom on my own, where I would pay a tremendous amount less, but I would have to pay a whopping amount up front. But in order to do that, I need the space in here, and then on top of that, I need somewhere to hang them. I don't have either one. So to put myself in that kind of mental space, I couldn't do it. So I went to Printful and I designed a shirt, just a basic t-shirt with "Mind Your Business" and "Thank You, King," because now I know my site is just done, everything is right, and the order will go through. I believe it was Mary that I asked, and she went all the way to the shopping cart, but that wasn't going to give me the answer I needed unless the order was done. So even though King said I don't have to refund him. I will be, because I just needed to know that one simple thing. And when I do refund him, then the shirt for him is a model for me. And God forbid if somebody say, where'd you get that shirt? And he can say Shay's Creations. You understand? So now I understand. And I'm working on another shirt, so I'm gonna need somebody to purchase that shirt and put it on, and trust me to send it back to you if you need your funds back. But I am thankful because now on Printful I will get to have a review, an honest review for someone who purchased the shirt, see the quality or whatever the case may be. But I did not want to use Etsy, and it says that the best place to go for the traffic and all that other stuff is Etsy. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. This channel here has the link. If I can't bring the traffic and the buyers on my own, then obviously I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and it wasn't for me. That's it. But I can't use another method to where I have to pay them, and then pay the payment processor. I can't do that because I need to do one thing for my buyer, and I need to do something to cushion their fall while they're cushioning mine. The base of the shirt is I think 20 something dollars, and that's with I had to pay $2, I think it's 79 cents, just to put my name on the front on that. So that goes to tell you. Now a lot of people are branding the inside label, branding this here, and then branding the back. Each of those have a fee. So why do I want to have all of those bells and whistles and then put it on? Bad enough the shirt is 31 and then with shipping, but I did find a shipper where I could put it to the lowest I was able to get it. But if I put it on Etsy, I have to raise the shipping. Why? Because Etsy has a minimum of 8 fees. And some of the fees people don't realize that they have until after they make a sale. How I realized they had it was when I made a sale and Etsy made more money than me. I said, I'm not going to play in the sandbox. And I was like, I said, nope, I'm not doing that. And I'm in groups. We already know that. And a lot of people are complaining about Etsy, but what they're looking for is the traffic. I want to build my own traffic on me, which means you will either support me or you won't support me. But the only thing is, I cannot ask someone to support me and then I turn around and throw on that feed and that feed. Now, if I order the shirt and I put the shirt on my online store, which is Shay's Bracelets and things, I think it is, but there are fees there. The good thing is the fees are very small, but the payment processor has a fee and I think another fee. So there's like maybe 3 to 4 fees on that site. So I have maybe 5 items there, and I'm very intentional with how I use that site. But when I realized Printful only has a minimal amount, but once I get enough sales on Printful to allow me to pay a membership of $25, then I would be able to lower my prices. But I can't do that. Why? Because I can't pay $25 when I'm not making enough to cause myself to have an income. So I can't do that. But to reduce the shipping by making it exactly what they charge for the shipping, rather than adding $4 and $5 on it to cushion my fall through another thing. Because if you don't understand the magic, you have to cushion your fall through the shipping. I don't care who you are. If you think there is anything called free shipping, you're a what? Bobo the fool, because the post office does not run for free. So we are instructed to put the shipping in the cost, but there are times that the profit is not there, and a lot of times on Etsy, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth, a lot of times on Etsy, when you see something under an amount that you see and you say, wait, that's really good, there is no profit on that item. And 9 times out of 10, that person has to pay the fees on that item because they're looking for a feedback. Some people's agenda is feedback, but you have to have that money at your disposal to pay that bill. I don't have it, so it's not going to work like that for me. Absolutely not. I don't have it to. I can't do that. Now, what I do want to do is outsource my first design on this so I can get me a legit review. That is a that's I can knock that out for someone that I know I trust, because I would hope and pray he would do an honest review. That's it. I didn't actually put the shirt on my dining table and iron it, so I need to know the quality of the shirt. But I have to also buy the shirt on my own to wear my own shirt. Ow, I cannot wait, but I'm gonna have to make it on my own, and I'm gonna have to put Shay's Creation somewhere on the front where I have access to it, because when I order it on my own, I can't get the side. But this is what I want the most. I want Shay's Creations right here on the side, so I am so happy. But I need to know, how come I haven't seen anyone comment about my banner and the change of my name on my channel? Did no one see that? I mean, did you not notice my picture has changed? Did you not notice anything? I'm like, I'm waiting for my first comment, but if I get the comment after this video, I'm not gonna be too happy about that, right? Okay. Just as long as we understand that. I'm freezing, but I will turn the air off in a few minutes. I want to go back in my room. It's like 10 o'clock, and just get a little bit more out. I have a box over here on the floor. I'm going to put some stuff in there that's going to go out. But I walked today trying to see if I could find like a daycare or something like that to where I could get some of this paper out of here. But boys and girls, why did I go in that closet and find a bin full of paper? I'm like, oh my goodness. But not clear white paper, I mean colored paper. And what I want to do now is not chop and all that other stuff. I want to use my printer and chop that and layer that up with scraps and stuff to make it easier for me to be able to do a kindness card without having to use my machine and scroll, and my fingers can't take that anymore because that thing is so hard. So, and just doing this, I could feel the pain in here. So I don't have carpal tunnel any longer, but I had it. If you don't know what that is, you don't want to know. But I want to say thank you so much to everyone who watched my video this morning. I got 8 views, and no, we're not gonna play in the sandbox. It's not about how many views. Even if it's 1, you have done your job. You have done your job. That's what I'm gonna say. But I was about to say something, but that's too much information. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. Coral, I need to know if you're here. That's it, because I'm having a little bit of anxiety because I'm worried about you. So I know you don't want me to, but it is not going to be something that I can control. I don't want to reach out. I don't want to do all the other stuff, but I do need to know that you're here. That's it. If you're still resting, that's it. Just please make me thumbs up, something, so I can know that you're okay, because I'm please just do that for me. Okay. Now, um, this is not meant to be negative. I'm just gonna say there are times that I have been like maybe probably a nuisance, cold, or whatever. It doesn't matter. I was speaking to a friend, and she said, I thought you just disappeared or didn't want to be bothered or whatever the case may be. I said, no, I just didn't want to abuse you as a friend. And she was like, well, I don't mind if you called me. She was like, I'd be worried about you. I need to know what's going on. So I just told her, I said, I feel like a nuisance sometimes. But anyway, my sister called me today, and I was so thankful because about maybe 30 days ago, or maybe 30 days and some little bit more, I called her and I was talking to her, and the feeling I got was that she was not partaking into the phone call. Now I was not crying, or it wasn't that type of phone call. It just, she was disconnected from the attention that I needed at that time. And when she said, let me call you back, I understand more now what let me call you back means than I might have understood in the past. And then at that moment, I got a message that was the last time I was going to speak to her on the phone. And I didn't know whether or not the message was true, but about a day ago, I had a feeling that my sister was going to call me. Now, my friend met me yesterday, and when she asked me where do my family live, and I said, well, you go to that corner and you turn. That's my sister, my mother, and my sister. and you go back one corner and just make that's my brother. Your family live. I said, yeah, right, everybody, right there, 6 blocks away from where I was living. She could not believe it. And I said, well, it is the truth. Now, when I go to my mother's house, if you ever see me pull up in front of my mother's house, you just sit right on that corner and just go 2 buildings down, and that's where my sister lives. But and my other sister lives right across the street from my mother, and my brother lives right around the corner from my mother. So all of them are right in a drop of each other. So there's no negative here, no negative. There's nothing complaining. There's nothing. This is life here. So today my phone rings and I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, and I saw who it was and it said accept or decline. I said decline. And when I declined, I had no none of that. I was like, I'm good. I hope and pray that my sister knows I will always love her. But when I say I am done, I'm done. A person a person who goes through anything in life has to understand that we all have issues we deal with. We need to work on this. We have to work on this. That is it. But what I'm going to say to you is in kindness, because it is kindness. Don't listen to everything people say to you. Listen to what they say and watch what they do. Watch what they do. And I kid you not, I mean this in the most beautiful way possible. If a person shows you that whatever they're dealing with, they don't have enough 5 minutes to say, I'm just checking in to let you know I'm still here, whatever the case may be, fuck them. That's it. You want to know why? Because if you continue to reach out and reach out and reach out and reach out, what do you become? A nuisance. A nuisance. And that is what I began to feel like. But I ask God every single day to remove those who are not for me. Why? Because I am going somewhere. I have a destination, baby, and I don't want baggage on my back. I don't want to come up and then have to sit down and say to myself, okay, well, let me drop this there. No, I am only going to focus on who is with me while I am getting on that road to my destination. Because I kid you not, I already spoke to God. I already put it in the air. And I absolutely am not going to sit here and ask for everything I need. Patience, time, consistency, loyalty, and the possibility to bless those who bless me, and I turn around and not come on my favor who I am. Absolutely not. I'm going to do everything I can to fill my cup. But when I make it to where I know I'm going, those that were grinding with me, they will not be worried about how the hell they gonna eat. Now, I did recently find out that there was a person that was a millionaire, not a billionaire, and they were a giver, until the point where they had nothing. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I do know one thing and one thing only. Ride or die is ride or die. But ride or die does not mean ride or die to homelessness. It does not mean that. Everybody has a struggle. Everybody has a downtime, a storm, whatever the case may be. But I lived 6 blocks. You understand me? You understand me? And now I am so thankful. I absolutely wanted one thing in this world, and that was to make everybody happy. But I can't make everybody happy. I have to start making Shay happy, because I realized that's the one thing I wanted more than anything in this world. And then I kid you not, there are times I sit down and say to myself, I want to do this, I want to do this. And now all of these days and years, or whatever the case may be, I was working on one thing, and that is changing my name. I wanted to legally change my first name to Shay. But then something came over me a couple days ago, and I am not a fool. I'm not going to play the sandbox. I realized that all of the things I was waiting for, like the time when it's time to do your plates and all that other stuff, I was waiting for everything so I could save up and have all my money together, because when I had to do it last year, It was almost $300, but the blessing was I had it. So when it popped up on my screen, it was like it's time to do it. I'm like, what? I had it, so it wasn't. I didn't have to worry. But you don't want something major to happen and you don't have it, and you have to panic and wonder how and who and you're gonna ask. Because I kid you not, there is nothing in this world like security, but you have to cushion your own fall sometimes because a person can laugh and joke and say, "Oh, Shay," and when it comes down to it, you can't even get a plate of food. So I understand, but that doesn't mean I'm angry. But a friend of mine, and I kid you not, I had to part ways. I don't even care. We were really good friends. We were neighbors. We lived across the street from each other. I mean, she was really nice. But then next, you know, she started dipping in that damn crack, and I didn't know she was dipping in that crack. But her husband had a health issue. And she would come across the street to my house and be like, he peed in the bed, and I'm tired of him peeing on me. And this man was a guy, was a grinder. You hear me? This man went to work, came home, paid the bills, made sure she was good. If I was to tell you how many pairs of whatever she had that she didn't have to pay for, he paid for, and the way she would, I was like, I can't do this. But then next, you know, I found out she was on crack. So I found out the hard way through one of her family members who just couldn't deal with it anymore. But it just so happens that a apartment burned down and another apartment burned down, and you know, and I'm like, I'm just going to my closet, and then one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. So my daughter was like, "Mommy, she need no," and my daughter didn't know, and she still may not know. I was like, "No, we have to." So after that, next, you know, if I see so and so, I just and I just did what I had to do. Now I don't know what happened, but the last fire, her daughter, who was her high scholar, you hear me, couldn't even go finish her last year of school when colleges had already accepted her. Why? Her birth certificate, her social, her ID, everything burned in the house. And because she was on a domestic issue, if you understand what I mean, when you have to change your documents, she couldn't go back and get those because those were no longer in the system. So when I say I felt a certain type of way when I realized that just anything could happen now that AI has taken over. And if I go change all my documents and I'm changing this and then turn around, something happened, and oh, I remember I have my old birth certificate and that's void, she is gone. So I said, you know what, I can't do what I want to do. And it makes me angry because I have been looking forward to saving up $500 to change my name. I really wanted to change my name, and I was going to change my name in 2027. But I realize now I can't do it. So it doesn't matter. I am who I am, and that's it. But I would really like to just have one thing go right that I want to go for myself. But I refuse to allow myself to make that be a negative when it could be a positive because it is the truth. What if one day I'm somewhere at the airport in Mexico? You know, you don't know where it is because I'm working on a passport. Yes, I am. I have to get away from some of these fierce boys and girls. It is time for me to live my life, but I'm not going to run out there and jump in dangerous ways. So it is what it is. My back is killing me. Whew, my back is killing me. But mm, oh, ooh, Lord have mercy. Good gee whizzes. I know somebody's like, I remember when she used to cry about being hot. Not no more, baby. But this thing is too hot. It was so cold in here one night, I couldn't walk. My feet were that bad, and I had to grab and take this and throw it over me. But you want to know one thing? No matter how cold I am in here, my cover cannot go at night above my shoulder. If I feel it above my shoulder, even in my sleep, my arm just push it off. I have to be bare in my sleep from here all up in my head. Now, I don't care how cold it is. My head is not going to have any cover on it when I'm in my bed going to sleep at night. Absolutely not. Not at night at all. But I am so hoping that you all had a wonderful day. It's not always going to be a good day, but I want you to know I really hope you had a good day. I did have good dinner. I made two chicken legs in that air fryer that you see is open. It's open to remind me to wash it before I go to bed. That's all it is. It's open for a reason. But I seasoned up my chicken legs and made sure I put them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the refrigerator, and they were delicious, boys and girls. 350, 45 minutes. That's it. Now I have four chicken legs in that refrigerator. Before I go to bed, I'm going to let me get a little sip because I think this is supposed to give you energy. I'm not sure. I'm going to season up my chicken legs so I can put them in the refrigerator so I can have two chicken legs for breakfast in the morning. One of the things I'm really glad about is that I have adjusted to eating dinner for breakfast. I have saved so much time and just a whole lot just getting away from breakfast food. I saw a man, and I saw a man, I don't know, on something, and he said he no longer eats breakfast food. Now, there's nothing wrong with sausage and eggs and all that other stuff, but when I started removing a lot of that overly processed stuff, I started feeling much better. But where I noticed the most is in the cloud and the staircase that I felt in my head. And just recently talking to someone, when I heard her mention the staircase, or she described it in her own way, I couldn't do anything but listen because I completely understand. I was telling someone that it felt like a staircase. That means you can feel the changes. But when I was talking to my doctor a couple days ago, I told him that that orange packet, like 35-cent noodles or something like that. I said that mess had me on Wobbleville Lane because I would lay down and I'm like, I would feel, my head was like, wow. And I really understand that is something I don't care how hungry I am. I don't even want the noodles and say forget about the packet. I truly don't believe it's the packet because the packet, nobody has to use the whole packet. Anybody with a common little piece, a little bit of intelligence would get rid of some of the packet, but I believe it's the noodles itself because that crap there is like, and sometimes when I think about how many children eat that, it is crazy. It is crazy. But something that came to me through someone else was such a blessing to hear. I was talking to someone and I was telling her, I said, you know what? I have noticed you made a lot of changes, with your hair and your nails and things like that, and you are just beautiful. But when the person said to me that a friend of theirs took $200 of her rent money to buy bundles, and this is her friend, and I said, I hope and pray that when she hits the street, you mind your business. And then I know that the sound of that must have been horrible because that's just not me. I'm just not that person, but I had to become that person. So there are times, and I said, learn to mind your business. It will save you a lot of stress. I kid you not. Don't borrow other people's problems. I am not the type of person that would know someone's in distress and not want to help them. But if I know you would intentionally take $200 from your landlord to get your hair done, I don't have a drop of sympathy for you. They could throw your shit out the window. Someone else, I would be like, me hold some of their things as long as they don't have nothing crawling out. And I would hope there's nothing crawling out. But that person that took 200 from their rent, nah, it wouldn't even faze me. I wouldn't even care. And it is time now to stop feeling like you have to, just be a follower and all type of things that's going on. Because if you stop, you look and you listen, some of these people knew a lot of what was going on, and they just had I don't care attitude. And that's why I try my best to remove myself from people that have a lot of I. If it has not been we for a very long time, it is what it is. Like tonight, I am hoping that my mom is doing okay, but I said I'm not even going to make the call. I'm not going to make the call. I was in the emergency room a few days ago because I was unwell. And then the next day I had to get an emergency visit to the doctor. And then my mom called me and I was on my way home and she said, "Oh, I thought you wanted to go get pizza." And I couldn't connect where pizza would come in when I was unwell in the hospital. I'm getting all the way down there. It's like all these. Where does my health come in at? And I'm like, pizza. No, I couldn't understand it. So I'm glad she got her pizza because I saw that my brother said that she got her pizza. I'm thankful for that, but I haven't heard from her in 2 days since that day, and that's okay. There is no anger there, but I don't understand where I would want a slice of pizza when I was just in that hospital room trying to figure out why is that rice putting me to sleep. I have a pizza in my freezer. I can't eat it because I had one slice, and as soon as I eat it, it's a bunk in the bed. But the pizza I actually ate today, I picked up from that location. I bought a regular, three regular slices without any extra cheese. I came home and put my own extra cheese on it, put it in my frying pan, turned it down on medium, and then I put cheddar cheese, a slice of cheddar cheese that I broke up, and I put a little bit of that green can, and that pizza was good. I have never imagined having pizza with cheddar cheese on it. I would never believe that that would be possible, but I have one more slice of pizza. I don't know what she uses in that pizza she has there, but I don't have that drop in whatever she uses, and so I'm gonna go back when I go again, get me probably three slices and bring them home, put my own extra cheese and my own cheddar cheese and little spices, and then that's it. Because what I realize is that I love her pizza, but it's not her pizza I love. It's her cheese. Because when I had the pizza without anything on it, I didn't like it. It didn't give me any bells and whistles. So I realized what I'm actually paying for is her cheese, and I'm not going to pay that amount of money for cheese. But even if my cheese is not that cheese, my cheese is still, I can afford mine a little better than I could that for one slice when I can make a few slices along the way. No, there's no issue about me buying the pizza. I have no choice because whatever flour she's using, that's the flour that I can eat. I don't know if I would be able to ask her, what's in her flour, just something I can tell my doctor or whatever, but I'm almost positive that I know what's wrong with me. I can't pronounce the word, but I do have access to the three words, and that is clearly what has to be what's wrong because it describes everything to the T, which means those carbs are linking to my narcolepsy, and that's it. So it is what it is. Anyway, thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, whatever the case may be. I will say I hope and pray April sees this video to give me that whatever that shirt was so I can go and put another shirt up. My link for Printful is in my YouTube, so there you have that as well. And another thing, nothing. Have a wonderful day. Okay, I wasn't gonna say that, but something popped in my head. YouTube is making some changes. So if you are monetized or you're looking to be monetized, you need to work on long form videos. And long form videos need to be over 30 minutes, and it would be good if it was an hour. And what people need to understand is that, and the good thing is, just say I pop up on your screen and I don't grab you in the first 10 minutes and you leave, that's fine. Never feel obligated. But when a person has access to look in their stats and see that the video only ran 3 or 4 minutes, and then you leave a thumbs up and then you leave a comment, or if you leave a thumbs up and you leave a comment about something you saw in the video, so at least the person can feel a certain. I'm not saying you have to, but comment on something you see in the video. Now, there's something about me that I think I like about me, but it does not mean you have to. When I'm watching someone's video, I like to comment on something I saw in the video. It does something for them as the person who's doing the video. You may not ever understand, but if you have a YouTube channel of your own, start commenting on something you saw in the video, and maybe you'll figure out what it is that you would be beneficial to if someone commented on something they saw in your video, and see how it feels. Because when you don't know if you reached, or if you did something, or if you touched on a topic that was able to help someone, you just don't know. So I got a comment today from my very first video from me changing over to this new venture in my channel, and I was thankful because of the comment that she gave me. It was filled with way more information than she put in text. So we need to be a little bit more mindful about things like that. A little bit more mindful about things like that. It is just a little bit of help to give to someone, especially for someone who is relying on YouTube. I have heard that YouTube, I've been seeing videos that YouTube is, the pay is down. I don't know what's gonna happen when I reach to where I need to reach, because I'm trying to get that gravy, boys and girls. But I'm not chasing it. There's nothing. I'm not chasing anything. When it's for me, it's going to be for me. And the reason why I'm not chasing is because God needs to make sure that I'm going to know how to handle it. So I'm still in the stages of learning budgeting and all that other stuff. Because guess what? One thing I have learned from, especially from these artists who couldn't read and all that other stuff, I want to manage my money to the best of my ability. But if I have to outsource that to someone, I would like to outsource it to someone that I don't have to pay them high dollars to. And I know they will cushion my fall by not stealing from me, because God forbid somebody steal from me. You have, I better not have somebody in my life steal away from me, honey, because I am not afraid to die. Absolutely, there is no fear. I already believe I'm going to die helping someone. Why? Because there are savages out here. They just see you a certain type of way and just want to grab and grab and grab. Honey, because I'm going to stop, put that on pow pow, put your hand down, turn it around, don't put it this way, put it that way, because I'm about to let you starve when I know that you let me starve. That's it. Absolutely not. My friend, my battery was dead. She just said, I'm on my way. And that was it. Honey, please, she will never have to wonder how she going to eat if I come up. Are you crazy? Nah, I am about to really and truly, I'm working on something. God knows, because my friend that I let you hear today on the phone. Now, did anybody listen to that video and hear that lady's mouth? She's saucy. She's saucy. She said to me today, it was so funny. I kept like turning the video on little by little so you can hear how she talks, but she makes me laugh. That woman is like 77 years old. And I told her today, I said, I would really like it if you had known who Coral was, because you and Coral are just so real. There is nothing fake about them. They are real. You understand what I mean? But she's like, and I told her, I'm not going anywhere with you because you are not afraid to throw your hands up. I said, but see me, I'm not going in the clay cup. I don't know what anyone feels. I have no qualms about anything. There is no issue in me, a phobia, anything. I don't want to share a bedroom with anyone, period. And you know I love men. That has nothing to do with it. But I don't want to see a woman naked. There's nothing on a woman I want to see naked. But I don't want to get a shower and you turn around and then you might be bigger, you may be hanging, I might be up. It don't matter. I don't want it. So if I don't want to borrow that, I'm not going to put my situation now. This one lady, we were in Target one day, and this man said something to her. She said, "What the fuck is this?" She went out. I said, "Ooh." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to." She's a senior citizen, and I was not even a senior citizen at the time. But I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I get scared, boys and girls. Why? Because I can't use that toilet. Now, when I was in handcuffs before and I had to do my little time, that toilet, that cage, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I'm peeing, and all you hear is true. And then the girl on the side over there, I want to go back to the prison. I want to sit here. And she dismissed herself. She didn't even want to go to court. You don't want to go to court? No, take me back to the jail. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, I don't even want to have that mentality. What was in that jail? I said to myself, it could only be one thing. 3 meals in a cot because there's no way in hell I would have traded that hard. What was that bread? What was that bed made out of? Wood or concrete? But I kid you not. I kid you not. I had a feeling I was going to prison. I did. And I laid on that thing and I put my hand on my chest and I said, God, I did the crime and I'm gonna do the time. I said, but I don't belong in jail. I said, what happened to me was not my fault. I said, it is a product of my rage. I was angry and I was treated unfairly, and I just talked to God that day, honey. And then they moved me to another cell, but I kid you not, honey. Mm, if you have never smelt and smelled that you would never want to smell again, you couldn't pay me to work in a place like that. To come to work every day and smell ass air like that, oh no, I couldn't do it. It was a combination of like more than a few that just sat there for like maybe hours and days and just roasted in body odor. I kid you not, and I kid you not, I was in the cell and I was sitting right here just looking. I said absolutely nothing, and there was people in there and they were talking and stuff. You know when you see on the movie and they get and people coming, and I had one person looking at me like, and I just kept saying to myself, Lord, just hold me down, because anybody come for me, I'm going for mine. I just hope they understand and hope they see that I was a victim and I had to defend myself. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm listening, and this person over here like, and this person over here like that, and I'm like, and it was horrible. But I kid you not, there are some freaking nice people in the police system. You hear me? Nobody could tell me that it's not true. And I get tired of people saying that you're a traitor. You can kiss my ass if you think I'm a traitor. I don't even care. This man knew I had to go to the bathroom. And he said to me, he said, Miss, you have to go to the bathroom again. I said, yes. That man opened that cell up and he said to the person, he said, I'm taking her down the hall. He took me down the hall to a different bathroom. I had privacy. That man understood the assignment. You hear me? He was decent. He was decent. And I only say the truth of what I know because of how I was treated. Now, I kid you not, if it was someone else, they wouldn't feel that way because of whatever that man looked like. That did not matter. That man's kindness. Another thing that happened to me when I was in there, when they were fingering my fingers, I was nervous. He was like, smile, today is your birthday. And I'm like, sir, do you know what you're doing to me? And he was doing this to my fingers, putting a little ink and rolling it around. I'm like, today's your birthday. I'm like, I'm going to prison. Are you serious? But I understood that I did the crime. The only thing is I wasn't of right mind and sound mind and body. I didn't know I did the crime, but I know I did it because I was covered in blood and everything. So we're not gonna go there. Don't ask me no questions. Mind your business. Mind your business. So I understood that I did it, but I also understood why I did it. So I didn't know I did it. I had no awareness of what I did. The beauty of it was there was at least one camera that captured me, and I asked them because when they interviewed me and they had me on recorder, I said I'm guilty. I was like, you don't want to? No, I don't need one. I know I did it. How do you know you did it? Because anybody in their right mind who would have did that if they did this and that. And then what one of the blessings was someone came forward and something had happened to them by this person. So I had to go to court and try. It was horrible because I kid you not, I don't ever want to go through any process of the judicial system. They make you go to court just to say appearance and you leave. That is horrible. Just imagine if you are paying cash for your attorney. And I don't ever want one of those free attorneys. If I did something and I was really needing some come up, I wouldn't want a free attorney. But this attorney, she told me, she said the district attorney didn't even want to charge me. No, it was, and my lawyer told me if it was me, she would have did way. It would have been like boom, 25 to stuck. If it was her. So I'm like, and the only thing I did was sat right there, and when they were asking, I just said what I remember and what I might have been through, whatever. But I kid you not, women, I'm not gonna say it again, and men, I'm not going to say it again. anybody violate you, you have any love for yourself, 911. That is it. I don't care if your mama does not believe in the judicial system. Someone violate you, 911. I kid you not. Whatever it is, you better start singing. You want to know why? You have children and you want your children to see you accept a certain type of my thing was I didn't want my daughter to know. That's it. I did everything I could not to let my daughter know certain things I had to go through because that girl is not going to play in the sandbox. She's not going to play in the sandbox. So even me getting here, there's a lot she has no idea of, and it is going to stay that way because I do understand the assignment. There are people that will just go bonkers, and I legit saw myself 25 to life. So I had to reach out to 911 because if it wasn't 911, it was going to be me being a savage, going out there and taking care of something for myself. But I kid you not, nobody that I love better ever be a grinder for me to get in that street and want to defend me enough to put up their hands. You better not ever do that because you love me. That's not the love that I want. I don't want anything to do with that type of love. If you want to get outside in the street and act like a savage to protect me, you're not protecting me because when they lock you up, you can't protect me anymore. So you need to start working on that. Figure that out. I cannot believe someone violated someone's daughter. Now, he didn't physically touch her, but what he said to her was just like he touched her. And that girl's mental was bonkers, and she was a minor, and I had already been touched, and I had already been left for dead, and I was already ripped wide and bleeding, and my insides was on the ground. So I know what that trauma is, and that girl could not calm down. This man sat outside in his car because he was going for his. And I said to him, honey, I respect the hustling grind. But that girl right there, the way you want to help her right now, you need to start working on who's going to help her when you get 25 to life. Because you cannot help her from prison. That man got out that car and was in my house in about an hour. Just sat at the window and just looked and girlfriend, yeah, it was. I kid you not. Anybody who loves you would never put you in harm's way. I kid you not. If you think someone loves you, just listen to how they act when it comes to your safety. Because, honey, if you think you're going to run out of my door and jump in somebody and bust up somebody, now, if I get angry enough to snap, I have mental health issues. If they take me there, take me there. I still, in my right frame of mind, would never want to have to do nothing like that. Never. That's why when I'm on the parkway, if somebody blow me like the person that blew behind me today, I saw the person behind me. They were right here, and I was trying to go this way. They were trying to go this way, and they blew the horn to let me know that I can go this way. So I just took it as a help. And then my roll away, and I'm like, I can't be with that kind of stuff. I'm not doing that. So if somebody was to just say the car couldn't move and they was to come to the car, you know what they're gonna do? Bow, both of us. That's why I have to be alone sometimes because I don't want somebody's unsavory behavior to get me caught in this. Because there are people that you can be with somebody with a mouth like this and then turn around somebody else coming their mouth like this and you like, we gonna get you. No, honey, we not getting that goddamn thing. You're going to get, because I put my skates on like my sister does. My sister jump in her skates, but you don't have to see them either because she's going backwards and by. I'm leaving you right where you are. I'm not going in prison for anybody. You know why? Because even if you don't give me a sheet, I'm going to find a sheet, put it right on that roof, and me live there and eat that kind? No, no. I don't even want someone to offer me a plate of food that I have to wonder what surroundings it was cooked in. I wash my hands too much. I can't even get enough of watching my counter sometimes. You seriously think I'm gonna just eat anybody's food, and you think I'm gonna eat in there, and knowing the type of person that I am? I kid you not, boys and girls. I am so thankful that I am the person I am today because I'm a Libra. I'm gonna give it to you plain and simple. I may have to remind you on a few occasions. A Libra is the nicest person in the world, but when you cross a Libra, you are asking yourself to burn. You might as well just take your hand and stick it in a hot oven. Just leave it there until you can't leave it in there anymore, and then leave it in there again. Because guess what? There are some ticking time bombs in people to where they will sit out, they will be on the computer looking for your ancestors. And oh my God, I wish I could tell you what someone did, but and I kid you not, I wish I could tell you what somebody did, but let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you a little piece of tea, okay? Me and somebody were born days apart. Now, okay, you see the guy that was in my house to help me move? Me and him were born on the same day. So I already know there is no chance I would ever be in his fire line. Absolutely not. When he was saying to me, or if I find out I'm offended, I was like avoided. If I saw him across the street, I crossed the street that way. If I was this way, we were going. I was going that. It was no chance of me ever getting into anything with him because I know his capacity and plus his strength. There's no way in hell. But there is another Libra that I am days apart from, and someone crossed this person, and what he did to them, and they still don't know he did it. Still don't know, and he was able to witness with his eyes the demise. You get me? And I don't mean death. There was no death. There was no physical bleeding. There was nothing. But what he did, I would physically stand in that moment, and I would have been dead on my own. I would have had cardiac arrest. I would have had cardiac arrest. And I kid you not. If you have me by email and you want to know, I will tell you. But do not reach me by email today just to ask me because I'm not going to answer. You have to already have me by email, and I will tell you. But when I tell you, trust and believe, this person betrayed me. Do you hear me? Betrayed me in 2025, and the person has no idea that I know. You know why? Because I knew what he is capable of, and he knows too much about me. That's why I said, I'm not gonna play Sandbox. When I found out that he betrayed me, and I don't think he did it with the full intention of what he was going to lose, because I was his friend. I was his friend, and when it was time and he needed, it was me. It was me. I showed up in times of when nobody I could tell you the tea, and I just walked away. Walked away. And I was so thankful that I was able to walk away because a different type of me, knowing that I have access to a few little details and stuff. If I wanted to play in the sandbox, I could, but I don't want that residual karma. Karma misses no one's address. No one's address. Right now, today, I was able to feel someone who is really trying to come back in my life to tell me how sorry they are, give me an explanation because they were going through. I don't give a damn. Nope, I don't. Because when you had the chance to do right, you had a chance to do right. Not only one, two, but three chances. So now there's only one way you get to come back here to tell me, well, not back here, but you know what I'm saying. There's only one way, but other than that, but I kid you not, we have to be careful. And one of the things I always say is do not have a revolving front door. Do not be the person that wakes up in the morning and know at 9, 10 o'clock your homies coming over, lounging in your house, and you live in a low-income house, and you got 5, 6 people coming in your house, and they flushing the toilet on your landlord's water. You're running the sink on your landlord's. Come on now, are you serious? Are any of them going to cushion your fall if you get an eviction notice on that door? Oh Lord, have mercy. Why me? No, 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 no. I'm not even not. You're not gonna do that to me. And it really doesn't matter if you have low income housing or not. I'm just using that as a reference because right now there's a lot of foolishness going on. But we have to stop, look, and listen, honey. You cannot always be that person you want to just come in your house. Can you imagine? Just say you use a firm or something and you get a couch and you have a couch in your house. Why do you need a six pieces of furniture to sit on? Who's coming to sit in six pieces of furniture? And then on top of that, I remember when I was moving into here, I was in a group where people who were getting in their apartments and stuff, and two young people were wondering how can they let their boyfriend stay in without the landlord finding out. I said, honey, I'm leaving this group. This is definitely not for me. These people are, and I was so happy to see that there were some real comments in there telling these young girls how stupid they were. Now, and when I say stupid, I actually mean it, because you cannot tell me that I'm going to legit in this time and day when there is a fool among us to actually say, and do you honestly think that there's anywhere you walking around that somebody's not seeing you, somebody doesn't see this man walking in your house, and no, and anyone come stay here, you going on a lease, but you going on a lease with full understanding. You're here momentarily to get on your grind, because guess what? I will not be staying together. And yeah, I have a cot in there, honey. Yeah, I have a cot. I wouldn't mind. There's one person that I would allow to stay with me and go in my lease, because he's not gonna play in the sandbox when it comes to paying his portion of rent. But he would have to definitely. But the reason why I know, even though right now that he does need somewhere to go, the reason why I know he wouldn't go on my lease is because he has a come up, honey. He's coming up. And guess what, boys and girls? I feel so good. And yes, he watches my channel. I feel so good because I frustrated him for so long, being that person telling him, stop, look, listen. And then little by little, now he has a blessing. Yep, and he's very happy about his blessing. What I told him to do: be quiet, be still, be loyal. Yep, that's what you have to do. But he did. I don't think he can manage the fact that my mood changes a lot, and sometimes. But I believe it's because he's DNA connected to someone who's like me, so he has to deal with it there, and he has to deal with it here. So it is what it is. But I recently had to block him and delete his number, so hopefully he still watches my channel because he knows I still love him. But I don't have time to play in the sandbox with foolishness, so I had to release some tension from myself. Thank you so much for spending an hour with me. I needed my time in because I am building equity here, and I have to say thank you. If you notice my banner, please comment about my banner. And I would like you to mention just one healthy item that you eat. I'm trying to build a shopping cart for myself, and thank you so much. Bye bye.